Well, here's what I want to show you real quick about. I want to show you this is with the whole thing. We've talked about this last week. We'll talk about it again. This is the long-term effects of voting for the lesser of two evils, which, as far as I'm sure it's always been going on because I read things about even at the turn of the century, they were doing the same thing. But in my lifetime, I would say it really ramped up around when Ronald Reagan took over, right? That was the big shift from FDR New Deal politics to now supply side right wing trickle down politics, right? That's the dividing line. And then Bill Clinton, instead of bringing us back to FDR, politics and his demand side politics and his New Deal, instead of Bill Clinton bringing us back, he took us to Ronald Reagan and expanded Ronald Reagan, and then Barack Obama did the same thing. And I'm going to show you that right here. So here, someone made this. There's no name on this cartoon, so I don't know who did this, but it shows you. So there's the left, the center, and the right. So now when you start voting for the lesser of two evil, the left now becomes the center becomes over here, and the right moves a little bit to the... Now you keep doing that. Now the left is in the middle of what used to be... So there's the center. So now the left is in the middle, and then there's the right. And now the eventual... On the bottom, the left now is where the right used to be. So the left is right there. So that's where the right, not even center. So how do I know this is true? Because here's Barack Obama, who everyone said when he was elected was a socialist and a communist, and he's going to have the government control everything. And so he was as far left as we could possibly have. Want to listen to how far left he really was? Here we go.
I don't know that there are a lot of Cubans or Venezuelans, Americans who believe that. The truth of the matter is that my policies are so mainstream that, if I had said the same policies that I have back in the 1980s, I'd be considered a moderate Republican. I mean,
the same policies he's pushing in 2009, if he pushed them in 1980, he would be considered a moderate Republican. So see how far it shifted? Do you see how far? So now he is right here. That's what happens. And now the center is right there. That's where Hillary Clinton is. And now that's where the right is. So when Barack Obama proposed Romney Care, instead of proposing Medicare for all, or even a public option, when he did that, the right still has to oppose him because he's a black guy with a Muslim name. They can't go along with this shit. So they had to disown their own health care plan. So they had to move even further right from where they were, because Barack Obama decided to be where they were. So then they move further right. Do you see how this happens? And that's what you get. This is what you get. And that's how you get Donald Trump, when you get a guy who's supposed to bring change, actually brings you more Reaganomics. Makes the banks bigger. All the gains of the economy go to the 1%. Doesn't do anything for unions at all. Lets them get their teachers' union taken away in Wisconsin. Never puts on that soft shoe. This is the result of this kind of voting. Boom. And at some point you have to stop. Well, you don't have to, because we're living in what happens when you don't stop doing that. When you don't stop doing that, you get worse and worse demagogues, because the problems in the country are growing and growing. So the problems in the country are worse than ever, and people are now just voter policing, saying you got to keep voting for that thing. That's not really going to help you. Why? Because the other thing will hurt you. It's crazy. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay.
It is clear. People feel betrayed by Obama. When we're sitting here and
rightly so.
And Nellie talks about that she went out and helped support him. We all did. And the problem here is for us is, oh my God, we've been duped. We were completely fooled by Barack Obama. And I think to myself, well, of course that's by design. Look how good we felt when we were supporting this African-American male to become president. We're like, look at the progress we finally have made. And how long did it take him to make any progress about rights for gays?
Right? I think he was the last guy on board for marriage. He was for the separate but equal, right? They could have a civil service or whatever. You know what I'm talking about? He was.
Yes.
Right.
But those gay rights, civil rights, feminism, they are allowed as long as they keep the established economic order
Right.
as it is. There's a James Baldwin documentary, I haven't seen the latest one, but there's one where he goes down south, and so I'm not sure if that's in that, but he goes down south, and he talks about how integration, kind of destroyed the black millionaires' role. I think this was in Atlanta, because blacks would go to white businesses, but whites wouldn't go to blacks. So they lost a lot of business that way. And Martin Luther King, before he died, was talking about, income inequality, and he was really, saying we need a new economic system. And that's when they really go for you, because with women, you've got Virginia Slims, you've come a long way, baby. And with gay marriage, I've seen gay marriage pamphlets. Oh, that double income, no kids thing ain't no joke. I mean, there's a lot of money to be made off these, and I certainly see it with all the commercials now that are aimed at black people buying in to this capitalist system that, for vast amount of history, has completely screwed them over, and it's depressing,
To say the least.
yeah.
So again, people say, "Well, Jimmy, what's the answer?" I don't know what the answer is, but I know what the answer isn't.
Yeah.
The answer isn't to keep pledging your vote before an election to people who aren't going to represent you. That's not the answer. The answer is not to support Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi. They are working against you. And I have no idea how voting for those people somehow brings you to a better place. It's never going to do it. You're going to keep having, and this is exactly what they want. Again, like I just showed you in Florida. I wouldn't be surprised if they want him to lose, which is why they want to campaign with him. Because the donors want him to lose. Andrew Gillum, I mean.
Yes. I mean, Jimmy, that is such a funny way to take it, that, hey, if you get Hillary Clinton to come out and help you with your campaign, they want you to lose. I mean, she's campaigning in Florida.
In Florida, where she lost to Donald Trump.
But there's not only the threat of the machine, there's the power. I campaigned with Hillary Clinton in Florida for John Kerry with Planned Parenthood in 2004. I don't know how he did in Florida. I'd like to look that up now. But I remember her coming towards me. We were all on stage on the platform, and little and neon. I think it was a bright orange or bright pink pantsuit, and just the power and the aura of celebrity. I don't know if you've ever met someone like that, but it's just that I think it makes people it makes it very hard to know where your footing is when you're suddenly in that world, where you are in the club, and where I think practically anyone can con themselves into believing that they can make a difference because now they have all this power, but the power isn't there for them. But I think even Bernie, my mom says about Bernie, it's hard to go from a 4-star hotel to a 2-star, that it's just he has access to TV shows now. If he just plays the game, he feels he can get his little... it's like he cashed in his chips, which was all of us behind him, for a seat at the table of the Democratic Party.
It's interesting that you were saying that you were at that event, right? And there were other celebrities there as well. But Jimmy, weren't you reading something about the way that the DNC decided how to help these new kind of movements, that they want these young movements to seem as if it came out of their idea?
So
and
WikiLeaks.
that they also attach maybe celebrities, young celebrities, so it gives them this kind of like facade of independence.
Yes, that's exact. Well, WikiLeaks revealed that was a plan of the DNC. It was to get these groups on board for Hillary and the neoliberals, but have it seem grassroots and have those people feel like they came to that conclusion on their own. And in fact, Andrew Gillum was mentioned in the WikiLeaks, and let's have a meeting with that mayor. Like he could be. So this is their game, right? And they conspired to cheat the progressives and Bernie in the 2016 election. They conspired from coast to coast to do it, and they did it. And all those fundraisers that George Clooney was at, and they were $300,000 a plate and all that stuff. You remember those crazy things. And George Clooney, he justified it by saying that money's going to down ballot races. It's helping people running for Congress and for Senate and for... That wasn't the case. It turns out, we found out, that all that money got funneled to the Hillary Clinton campaign. How is that not graft? How is that not illegal? How is she... It's just crazy, right? Because they're all doing it. That's why, because there's nobody to hold. We got Robert Mueller is the guy who's supposed to be the one enforcing the laws. He's the guy who forced us into an illegal war, one of them. Please make sure you're subscribed. Even if you think you are subscribed, there's a good chance you're not. So please check. It only takes a second. And then click that bell. And that's how you know you'll get a notice every time we drop a video. They still won't notify you every time we drop a video, but that's the best we can do. Plus, if you like the show, you want to support it, please become a patron. We give you hours of bonus material every week. And come see a live show. Go to jimmydorecomedy.com for our live schedule.